Hello students, how are you? Hope you have started your academic year with all seriousness. As part of our academics, today we are going to discuss the essay writing part, and most of the students, most of the times in the academics, you will be asked to write essay on so and so topic. And today we will be learning how to write an essay. Now what is an essay? Essay is a short non-fictional item. It's a literary device. It's a part of a genre, and essay writing requires so many qualities, and it is rather similar to paragraph writing. A paragraph is a sequence of well-knit sentences. Similarly, if you have many passages or many paragraphs, you can have a kind of long writing in written form, and that will be anything. It may be article, it may be essay. Now look at why you have to ask a question: why should I write? What is the use of writing? What will form or what constitutes a writing? Now you see, writing essay is like a study of your own soul. You learn to express yourself in more logical way. Writing will develop your writing skills, your vocabulary, and it will help you to grow to be a talented and a creative writer. So writing will help you to become it will help you become a great writer if you have acquired these skills. It allows you to develop very important skill, that is the transferable skills. You see, any kind of learning takes place by referring to the books, listening to the lectures, or reading some material, and particularly the transferable skills here are reading and note making, critical thinking, analysis, organizing ideas, arguing a case, communicating effectively with a reader. All these important aspects form the core of your writing, that is essay writing. Now you see, as I told you, essay writing is linked to learning process. You see, as a student, you sit in the classroom and listen to the lectures by your lecturers, or you will be attempting tutorials, or you will be reading some reference books, or you will be observing someone or other people. All these items will help you get information, and this is not enough. Getting information is not sufficient to have knowledge. When you transform this information into learning or knowledge, only then you can master writing skills. So lecturers, whatever the lecturers give you, the lectures or tutorials, reading and observation will become the part of learning process, and that will be transformed into knowledge. Only then you will be having a very good effective essay. Now let's see the difference. Another literary device, that is called article. Now there is a confusion among the students and most of the learners whether essay and article are one and the same. Now there is a confusion. There is a slight difference between essay and article. Essay and article both are non-fictional literary devices, and when you talk about the essay is short piece of writing. Whereas article, it is also appears in newspapers, magazines, journals, and it is also a literary and a scholarly article. Essay, when you talk about the essay, it is subjective. It is written from the subjective point of view. Article is written from the objective point of view. Essay is meant to persuade the reader or the audience, and it is written in a response to a query or a question, whereas article is intended to inform some very important item to the readers. Essay will have no headings or subheadings, whereas article will have all these formats, that is, it will have headings and subheadings. So if you know the difference between essay and article, you will know what kind of essay you can attempt and how you can attempt the essay writing. Now let's see, before we go into the kinds of essays and the characteristics of essay, let's see the great essayists. George Orwell, Michael de Montaigne, R.W. Emerson, Samuel Johnson, Francis Bacon, William Hazlitt, T.S. Eliot, Virginia Woolf, Charles Lamb, William Cather, Martin Amis, J.D. Smith. All these are the modern and great essayists. In fact, essay, the person who attempts an essay is called an essayist, and essay is a word actually is derived from French language. It is first actually it is used as a verb, essayer. From there, the meaning of the essayer is a trial or attempt, and later in 16th century it has been used according to Oxford Learner's Dictionary. Samuel Johnson, I think, used this word, and according to the writers, essays can be attempted on different subjects, particularly as for the subjects, the variation of the subjects. So you can broadly divide the essays into these categories. Essays of narrative essays, descriptive essays, reflective essays, comparative essays, persuasive essays, expository essays, imaginative essays, and biographical essays. You see, narrative essay, now let's discuss what actually it consists of. It consists of narration of topics such as a festival, a journey, a visit to a place, a story, a biography, a trip. Now, if you are asked to write any one of these topics, it becomes a narrative essay. Generally, you might have come across these items in your schoolings and your college level and at graduation level. Even in the competitive examination, you are asked to write an essay, and the essay will certainly help you get more marks and grades. Now, there is another essay that is called a reflective essay. It reflects, or it is a reflection of some topic which is abstract. You see, when you discuss abstractive ideas, particularly qualities, social subjects, qualities like punctuality, if you are asked to write an essay on punctuality of students or teachers, it will become a reflective essay. It will also deals with good manners, kindness, heroism, patriotism. All these are the qualities or the abstract ideas. You can also write an essay on caste system, family planning, co-education, unemployment. So all these items come under the group of reflective essay. Now, you have another kind of essay that is a comparative essay, in which it compares two or more different things, critically analyzes any two subjects, pointing out their similarities, sometimes the dissimilarities. So in comparative essay, when you are asked to write a comparative essay, you will be comparing the qualities, similar qualities, or sometimes the differences. So that will help you discuss in depth the topic. Another essay is called persuasive essay. Persuasive is making someone understand or come around to your point of view. It will help you read on some pattern. It will make the audience or reader to come to your viewpoint. It can be compared to, for example, sales pitch. For example, in the advertisement sections where people try to sell their goods by convincing the public. So here, persuasion is a very important aspect of the quality of the salesman. So an essayist who attempts in a persuasive essay is like a salesman. It also appears in politics, and this is very important type of essay. Now, there is a kind of essay called expository essay. Expository is nothing but explanation. Now, you have some types: occupation, scientific, literary, quotations. When you talk about the occupations, particularly it will be discussing the press or the gardening or any kind of profession or the hobbies you have, and it can also deals with radio, TV, cell, computers. So writing essay, all these topics. It also touches upon or deals with the literary topics like the appreciation of an author or book or a poem, whatever it is. All these come under the group of expository essays. So you can also enlarge a quotation or discuss at length different proverbs, sayings, maxims. For example, honesty is the best policy. If you are asked to write an essay on this, you have to discuss it at length, including your own personal experiences. Now, another kind of essay is imaginative essay. Now, you see, you might have come across this kind of essay, if I were a millionaire. Now, this is an imagination. It involves your imagination, the faculty of imagination, where you can at length discuss your dreams, adventures of a rupee, future life on planet Earth. All these will come under this category, that is imaginative essay, where your imagination plays a major part. Now, after knowing different types of essays, now what should we do? You see, if you want to build a house, generally we first make a plan. Without a plan, you cannot have a good building or good house. So similarly, you have to have a plan before attempting an essay. So with a plan in your mind, first you have to collect the material. First, take the topic is given to you, on which you have to deliberate, you have to think, and you have to collect the material, and put all the ideas in a sequential order. And if you want to have an idea, where do you get ideas? You have to ask several questions to yourself. Asking questions will result in good ideas. So put all these ideas together, and after collecting the ideas, you have to take stock of these main points, and you have to delete. All ideas may not be useful for writing an essay. So you have to delete some of them and keep those are very important, useful to your essay writing. So first you have to attempt, or you have to make an attempt to collect the material for writing, before writing an article. Right? Now the material is ready. Then what you should do? You have to arrange them in a systematic way. And you see, what should come first and what should come next is also important, because you have a plan before you. So when you start arranging the ideas, they fall into different groups. So these groups will divide into paragraphs. Now you have an outline. So divide the essay into paragraphs. Give one paragraph to each heading, and see that the paragraphs are connected, logically connected. So you may have 3 or 4 paragraphs, or sometimes depending on the theme, you may have more than 5 paragraphs. But the cleverness or the wisdom of the writer depends on how he arranges the paragraphs logically and systematically, and thematically they are connected. So paragraphs should be of very length. So there is sometimes a large paragraph, sometimes a small paragraph. The variation will sustain the interest of the reader. So the logical sequence of the thoughts and variation of the paragraphs will all help you make you write a good essay. Now, when you have material, when you have arranged them systematically, now you have the main part, that is the important division of the essay is introduction, body, and conclusion. So this is the basic structure of any essay. And first part, introduction. It is like in your head. You see, what does it consist of? It consists of a definition or explanation. And in the introduction itself, you have to have a very important and striking and catchy statement that is called hook. And it will also have a thesis statement. And the thesis statement is nothing but it declares the main point of the essay. And all these items should be interesting and catchy, and it should attract the attention of the reader, and it should sustain the interest, make the reader to continue reading of your essay. Now, after completion of the introduction, now the main part of the essay is the body. Right? Body includes, what is that? The main part of this essay, it will have more than 3 paragraphs, and it consists of facts, illustrations, reflections on particular topic, that the topic you are discussing. And it includes the statistics also. Paragraphs ought to be constructed with coherence. You see, any essay should have 3 unities, that is the thematic unity, the contextual unity, and the textual unity. If you want to attempt a good essay, and these 3 unities are very, very important, thematic, and you have to see the arrangement of theme and the importance of theme. And the contextual is an understanding between, agreement between the readers and author's point of view and socio-cultural background. It should agree with the social cultural background of the writer and the reader. When you come to the third unity, that is the textual unity, where the grammar, arrangement of paragraphs is very important. You have to, it is also considered mechanics. So when you have these points in your mind, you can attempt a good essay. So first, okay, introduction, second one is body, and when you come to the third one, that is the conclusion. So the third part of the essay is the conclusion, and conclusion, and when the introduction is very striking and very catchy, conclusion should also be striking, and it should be natural. It should not be abrupt. The passages, your sentences should not end abruptly, and you should not imitate anyone. You should write on your own, and you should write in your own style. So in order to keep natural in your writing, and the conclusion will have a short summary of the middle part. So what you have said in the earlier paragraphs will be summarized in the conclusion part, and you can also end up your conclusion with a quotation or some beautiful sentence in order to in order to make the reader still think of the essay you have written. Now, style is man. You see, style in writing is very, very important. It doesn't mean that wearing dress and all that. So it's like using some properties, some characteristics of the essay writing properly forms they constitute style in writing. For example, when you have a theme in your mind, you have a plan and a material, and you have arranged with them systematically, and what you need is a language. You see, according to Shakespeare said that pen is mightier than sword. While having, simply having pen doesn't make you a superman or a very powerful man. You should have knowledge, you should have vocabulary, you should have the knowledge of arranging the sentences systematically without any grammatical error. So in writing an essay, you have to use appropriate words, phrases in order to present your point of view. You see, another important characteristic of writing is your sentences should be short and clear and simple. And you see, sometimes lengthy sentences will make the reader bored, and sometimes he may abruptly end up stop reading your essay. So sentences should be very short, and you should also keep in your mind about the reader you are writing this essay for. For example, you are writing essay for high school students or lower class students or graduate students. Your vocabulary and language should also be meet their requirements. You should not use bombastic language, high-flown language, idiomatic expressions that the students may not understand. And sometimes you use one word where where one word can do, you should avoid 10 words. So one word substitutes can help you in this context. And you see, avoid redundancy. You see, the words which are not in use, the words which are archaic should be avoided in writing essay, and be natural. I was telling I told you this already. Natural is nothing but keeping yourself from away from others. You stop imitating others. You follow your own way of writing, your own style of writing. Be natural in your presentation. Now, after going through all these aspects, now let's have a recap. You see, recapitulation, right? So what should we do? So now you are given a topic and you are asked to write an essay. All of a sudden, in the examination, thinking of 10 minutes will be a luxury for the student. But thinking for few minutes will certainly help you have a stock of ideas. So you have to think fast. Don't start writing at once. When topic is given and taking a piece of paper and a pen and start immediately writing without thinking will certainly result in a bad essay. So set down the various ideas that you have collected, select the ideas carefully, arrange the ideas as per the plan, and you have a plan before you, you should go about it. Divide the essay into paragraphs. Right? Divide the essay into 3 parts, as I told you. What are the 3 parts? introduction, body and conclusion. And you have to use simple words and short sentences, be clear as well as brief. You should, the very important aspect on the part of the writer is, you should know what he is writing. You should be clear about the topic he is attempting. Otherwise, it will confuse the reader and it will become a bad essay. And be interesting as well as to the point. You stick to the point. You should not deviate. Sometimes deviation will make the essay unnatural. And see, interesting means using very beautiful quotations. Sometimes references from your own experiences will certainly add spice to the essay. And after completing this, you have to revive. Okay, revive in the sense you have to think of spelling, punctuation, and particularly grammar. So after producing, after writing, after so many sentences, okay, without revising it, will certainly make your essay very, very bad one. Now, after going through all these aspects, now the very basic essay writing, that is a basic essay, will have 5 paragraphs. Now let's discuss what is 5 paragraph essay. Now 5 paragraph essay is also a composition. I told you composition, the paragraph writing or composition are similar to essay writing. It is in prose. So an essay is a prose composition with a set format. You see, only 5 paragraphs are there. And that is why it is generally termed as an artificial genre, because it is, the students are expected to write only 5, even if they have so many ideas in their mind. And this kind of essay is generally asked in the examination at high school level, higher level of the learning, even in certain examinations where you are prescribed, you are given certain amount of words. For example, you write an essay in 250 words or 300 words, and if the long essay it is a 500, and you are attempting an article, it will come up to 3000 words. So 5 paragraph essay will certainly have only 5 paragraphs. So that is why it is artificial, and it is a standardized one, right? Now look at this diagram. Again, you have a introduction, body, and a conclusion. But here, instead of having more than 3 paragraphs, here you have to confine yourself only 3 paragraphs in the body. So introduction 1 and 3 paragraphs of place and conclusion 1. So it comes to 5 paragraphs. This is the structure of 5 paragraph essay. Now, what should you have in introduction of a 5 paragraph essay? The first point is, the first part or the introductory part should grab the attention with the thought-provoking sentence. So when the reader reads your essay, you should completely confine to the essay. For example, I have given some example here. Shakespeare never grows old. Why is that? You see, Shakespeare belongs to 16th century. We are in 21st century. If you put this question, naturally the reader will be intrigued. So the second question is, education is not filling a bucket, but lighting fire. Now, very striking, very provoking, thought-provoking sentence. The man that hath no music in himself fits for treasons. So if you start your introduction with such kind of provoking, thought-provoking sentences, certainly you will be attracting the attention of the reader towards your essay. Now, introduction in the 5 paragraph essay gives the brief background on your topic. Now the topic is given. You have to tell what you are going to say in order to make the reader understand what you are going to say in the following paragraphs. And the 5 paragraph essay begins, or introduction begins or ends with the thesis statement. This is very, very important, thesis statement. Now we will be discussing thesis statement in the next session. And now let us come to the middle part, that is the body. Body develops, expands or supports the thesis statement. So what you said in the introduction will be discussed at length in the middle part. It also includes a topic sentence for each paragraph. So you will be having 3 paragraphs, and each paragraph each paragraph will have a topic sentence. So again, now a new word, a topic sentence. In the thesis statement and topic sentence, we will be discussing it. Okay, later. When you come to the third point, it includes, the body includes the supporting details which reinforce the topic sentence. Now, let's continue. In the middle paragraphs, there should be 3 to 5 sentences in each paragraph. So, ideal paragraph of a 5-paragraph essay should have 3 to 5 sentences, and the details may include reasons, examples, stories and statistics. And you have to, after completion of the paragraph, you have to indent it. Means you have to push the line from the margin to 5 spaces, so that it is called indentation. So each paragraph should be indented. Now when you come to the last part, that's the end, the conclusion, it restates the thesis or sums up the argument. What you have said in the introduction and the middle part will be summed up in the conclusion part, as we already learnt in the previous slides. And it also tells the reader what you think is most important. After completing the essay, after reading the introduction and the middle part, the reader will understand what you are discussing and what your point of view. This may be personal response. Sometimes you may give your own opinion at the end of the essay. And there is a warning for you. And you are not supposed to add a new idea in the conclusion part. No, that is very important. Conclusion means you are summing up what you have discussed in the body and the introductory part. Now, how to get, let's learn how essay should be started. First, as I told you, identify the topic. Write your opinion, and in which you will be discussing, the pros and cons and the various aspects of the essay, and give your judgment and even conclusion, and use these in the introductory paragraph. So very important point for the students is, first of all, when you write, you should know what you write, and you should also think over it, and you should collect the material. You should have different ideas. So ideas can be obtained through questioning yourself. And write 3 or 4 reasons why you support that position, why you hold that position, why you argue in favor of that aspect. And you should also think of transitional words, that is discourse markers or linking words. It may be words, phrases, or sometimes sentences, and these will help you connect the paragraphs in a systematic way. Now, very important aspect is you have to keep the following points in your mind while writing an essay. Now, I was telling you that I mentioned 2 new words. One is a topic sentence, and the other one is a thesis statement. Now, let's discuss what actually thesis statement is. Thesis statement is nothing but a proposition. While writing, you will be defending it, or you are trying to prove the point of view. So that forms the main idea. It is an assertion about what the author thinks to be true or false. Sometimes, the writer is independent, and he has an independent view of the topic. So you will be supporting it. He thinks that it may be true, it may be false. So all these come under the main idea, the main sentence that is called, the main statement that is called the thesis statement. So thesis statement comes in the introductory part. And it is also writer's opinion. It gives the writer a scope to express his opinions on a particular topic. It requires the writer to, sometimes, writer is expected to take sides. So he may defend, he may argue against the topic. So in that context, he will be siding with one idea and taking sides. So thesis statement constitute all these aspects, and you see, thesis statement will not be simply giving the thesis statement will not be sufficient unless it is supported by reasons. it is just an expression of one's opinion. So thesis statement, when you use a main idea, it should be supported by giving some reasons in favor of it, arguing it, and sometimes you may differ with the main idea. It is like a road map. So thesis statement will guide you to the main aspect of your essay, as if just as you have entered a new region where unless you have the road map, you will lost your way. So while writing an essay, you should have a thesis statement that will help you through the mystery of writing, the beautiful aspect of writing, the body part. Now let's discuss the topic. Now also see the difference between topic and the thesis. So what is topic? Topic gives you the subject you are going to write about. It is in a traditional, informal way, in a general essay, the first sentence is the topic sentence. And whereas a thesis will state where you stand about it. So that is the difference between topic and the thesis statement. Now, generally, topics are of general subjects. They deal with the general subject, where thesis is a specific one. It is based on the topics. It gives you, it becomes specific, whereas a topic becomes general. That is the difference. Now let's see some examples. Study of Shakespeare, that is the topic. Now what is the thesis statement? Shakespeare expresses timeless truth which are essential for education. This is thesis statement. Second thesis statement, Shakespeare is antiquated and isn't worth any study further or attention. You see, first one is study of Shakespeare, that is the general one. Now when you come to the thesis statement, you are focusing on some aspects, whether you appreciate or whether you denigrate or criticize the particular author or particular subject. Take another example. Global warming is a general topic. Now when you come to the thesis part, global warming is a natural phenomenon, man cannot change it. And there's another thesis statement. Global warming is unprecedented event which is caused by man and requires a human solution. So you can support it, or you can blame the man, or you can also support the man. You have to stick to one, right? So actually this kind of supporting or speaking against comes under the argumentative essay, where you have to take sides completely. Now take another example, GST and its implications. A general topic, is a burning problem. Now what is the thesis statement? It will help control the prices. Another one is, it is a conspiracy by the rulers to help the corporate system. The third one is, it makes the life of common man miserable. So topic discusses general subject, where a thesis will go into it in specific way and gives you the important aspects of it, the main point of it. So now when you talk about the topic sentence in a paragraph, generally topic sentence will come in the paragraph, whereas in the introductory part you will have a thesis statement. So when you attempt paragraphs, each paragraph should have a topic sentence. It is supported by the arguments later. Other sentence will support this. Ultimately, whatever you discuss in the paragraphs should be connected to the thesis statement that you made in the introductory part. Now, topic sentence is, it is a focused one, and it is a focused sentence. It tells us what the rest of the paragraph is about, and all other statements give more information about that sentence. Every topic sentence will have a topic and a control idea. The controlling idea shows the direction the paragraph will take. You see, topic sentence should have a topic and it is followed by controlling ideas. Now let's look at these examples. Topic sentence, what is the topic sentence here? To be an effective CEO requires certain characteristics. This is the topic sentence of a paragraph. Now what is the topic in this, what is the main part of it is, that is to be an effective CEO, and the controlling idea is certain characteristics. Let's look at another example. There are many possible contributing factors to global warming. The topic here is global warming. The contributing factor is factors. The contributing factors is the the supporting idea. Now look at another example. Cooking requires a number of different skills. The topic here is cooking, and the controlling idea is many different skills. And after looking at the structure of 5-paragraph essay, now you know that 5-paragraph essay will have only 5 paragraphs, and you have to be very careful in choosing the topic and discussing and having the material and making a thesis statement and using a topic sentence. And after having all these at your disposal, you should also think of transitions. You see, when you attempt the paragraphs in a essay, you see, one essay should have, should have a connection with the other essay in a logical way. And here transitions the transitional words are the words, phrases, sentences, linking words will help you move from one paragraph to another paragraph. So what is transition here? I have given you some explanation. A word or phrase or a sentence serves as a link between the paragraphs, and the transition highlights the relationship between the previous and the following paragraphs. Now transition can be, it can come at the end of the first paragraph or at the beginning of the first paragraph, sometimes in both places. Now let's look at the types of transitions. Now depending on the concept, you will have to choose the right transitional or the transition that is a linking word. When you talk about the similarity, you have to use these words: also, in the same way, just as, so, to, likewise, similarity. Now when you are having this kind of idea, that is exception or contrast, but, however, in spite of, nonetheless, and so on, so on. Now when you talk about the sequence or order, you can use words like first, second, third, next, then, finally. When you talk about the time, you can use these words: after, at last, before, during, and subsequently, and then. Now when you are giving an example, you can use words like for example, for instance, namely, to illustrate. Now you can also have words like for emphasis or even, indeed, in fact, of course, truly. And you can also have words like above, adjacent, and below when you're talking about the place: beyond, here, in front, in back, okay, nearly, there. When you're talking about the cause and effect, you can use words like accordingly, consequently, hence, so, therefore, thus. So when you are talking about the additional support or evidence, you can use words like again, also, as well as, okay, as well, besides. When you come to the conclusion, generally these words are used in conclusion part. You can use finally, in conclusion, thus, in the final analysis, on the whole, so on and so forth. Now you have to be careful about all the aspects when you start writing an essay, and what makes your essay is successful or good one is practice. You have to be careful in choosing the topic, thinking over it, collecting the material, and arranging them in systematic order. And you see, you can also write essays on attempt short description. So before you write an essay on your own, not academically, first you have to describe your own experiences, describe a person you know, or the place you visited. That's how you can start writing. So description will precede any complex kind of article. Short description give the necessary training in clarity of expression. So for example, you are describing your own surroundings, you are talking about your own teacher, talking about your own friends. So you will be familiar with the topic, and you will be choosing the words familiar to that and relevant to the context. So that way it gives you clarity of expression, and you can arrange them logically, and that will help you improve your writing skills. Now first of all, when you want to write an essay, first you attempt an essay on subject like radio, a bicycle, okay, a teacher, a film star. You love to write an essay on film star, and you can also write write on examinations, corruption, the India of my dreams, the generation gap. And you can also attempt essays on the topics like a walk on the moonlit night, the teacher you like best, a river in flood, give the character sketch of Raju in the guide, okay, R.K. Narayan's novel, economic reforms. So after having gone through the essays, you can attempt essay on your own after mastering all these skills. What are the important skills we have discussed? First of all, you know that essay has three basic structures, the basic divisions, that is, okay, introduction, body, and a conclusion. In the introduction, you have to be careful about what you are going to talk and what you are going to discuss, and you start writing the essay with the thesis statement. The thesis statement is the main aspect of your essay, and the thesis statement will decide the will determine your argument. And when you come to the middle part, it will, in a 5-paragraph essay, it will have 5 paragraphs, and in the middle part you have 3 paragraphs, and the 3 paragraphs are, sometimes each paragraph will have 3 to 5 sentences, and they should be in a varied length, and each paragraph should be indented. And when you come to the conclusion, you should be very careful. Your conclusion should be very attractive, just as your introduction. You should use a proverb or a statement, a familiar statement from a great man, and you have to sum up what you have said in the preceding paragraphs. And while writing this, you should have so many things. And I told you, simply having a pen and a paper will not make you a great writer. So you should have a command over language, and you should have a sufficient vocabulary, and you should be very familiar with the topic. When you are familiar with the topic, and you certainly choose the words relevant to that. And now you should also keep in your mind for whom this essay is written, and your target audience. And you are writing an essay for the intellectuals, you have to choose language of that level. And when you're talking about, when you're writing an essay for the school-going children, you should be very careful not to use high-flown language. And at the same time, you should also be very careful in using the sentences or writing sentences by using transitionals, and particularly you see the words, linking words. Otherwise, your essay would become unnatural. And you should also be very careful that the division of the essay, I told you, 3 paragraphs in the body, and introduction and conclusion, that the 5 paragraph essay may not be relevant to all kinds of essays. For example, I told you descriptive essay. In descriptive essay, what do? Generally, you describe a place, a person, or thing. Particularly, you are talking about your father. You cannot divide the material into 3 parts, like a conclusion or body, and introduction, body, and conclusion. So this basic structure will not be suitable for all kinds of the other kinds of essays. So when you are asked to write an essay, 5-paragraph essay, or an essay in 200 words or 300 words, depending on the topic, you have to decide whether you have to follow the method I just discussed in the class, will be suitable for your essay or not. So on the whole, you have to be very careful in writing essay, and I wish you all the best, and we will be discussing another item in the next session. Thank you very much. If you have any doubts, you can ask me regarding the essay writing.